Welcome to your deep, full body stretch yoga practice. This is going to feel really good. Come on down to the ground when you're ready. I'm going to bring the soles of the feet together, knees open for cobbler's pose or Baddha Konasana to begin. Have a little shuffle, get yourself sitting nice and tall, roll back the shoulders, holding on to your ankles or your lower legs. And just for a moment, close your eyes here. Take a deep breath in, out slowly through the nose or mouth. And a few more breaths like that, slow, mindful breaths. Just beginning to let go of the day that you've had so far, whatever is going on, and to arrive fully in this moment and in this practice. Now start to hinge forwards from your hips, leaning over your legs. Let your head drop down, breathing in, breathing out. Try and relax around your jaw. I always find it helps for me to give my jaw a little wiggle side to side when I begin, to kind of loosen up all of those muscles there. You might hear some clicks and crunches as you move your jaw around. And then just softly close your mouth without any clenching of the jaw, no tension between the teeth. And soften across your forehead. Continuing to breathe slowly, steadily. Deep breaths down into the lungs, so that it might feel as if you're breathing into your belly. And then start to lift your way back up and bring the knees together. Take your feet about as wide as your yoga mat and drop your hands to the ground behind you. And then drop your right knee in towards the center of the mat. So rotating the hip in, bring it back up, and then do the same with the left side. I'm going to repeat this a few times. You might find that your knee doesn't come all the way to the ground, that's okay. You also might find that your hip is lifting up quite high, that's okay too. Just starting to kind of loosen up and lubricate those hip joints, get them moving in different ways. I like to think of it a bit like hinges of a door. You know, when they get really stiff and creaky and the door doesn't open or close as easily, and you need to just oil that hinge to get things moving more freely. This is kind of what we do when we're mobilizing through yoga. We're getting all of our joints to be a bit less creaky, a bit less rusty. You might find when doing this, you've ended up kind of scooting all the way down onto your bum. That's okay. We're now going to come around to tabletop position, hands and knees. If you know that your knees get a bit tired here, you could pop a blanket or something similar just under your knees there. And then spread out your fingers, knees under hips. And a little different to cat and cow, we're actually just going to do some big circles with the hips here. So think about where your hips are positioned right now. And you're going to rock them over to one side. Lift the hips up a little bit and then rock them to the other side. And tuck the tailbone under. And if you have no idea how to do that, just start by rocking your hips over to the left, over to the right. And then think about the sort of cat-cow movement through the spine at the same time. So lifting the chest and then lowering the chest, rolling through. You really can't do this wrong, I promise, even if what you're doing doesn't look anything like what I'm doing. As long as you're bringing a little bit of movement in around the hips, around your back. And if you found a kind of circular motion, try and reverse it and go the opposite way too. Good, and then coming back to tabletop position, so neutral through the spine. You're going to take your right foot and extend it out to the side. I'm going to turn around so you can see me. So from tabletop, right leg is going to extend out to the side like this with the toes pointing forwards. Try and have the foot in line with your other knee. And we're going to walk the hands in, come up to stand on this left knee, coming to gate pose. So right hand rests on top of the leg, left arm is going to reach up to the sky, breathing in and breathing out into a side stretch. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, reaching back up to the sky. And with the exhale, drop the left hand back down to the ground. Turn to the right and reach up high with the right arm. Big open twist. Breathing in, breathing out. And then float that hand back down onto the mat. So hands are going to be kind of under the shoulders again. We're going to rock a little bit forwards and then a little bit backwards. A little bit forwards, a little bit backwards. You're likely to feel this all through the inside of this right thigh. Depending on how flexible you're feeling, you might be almost sitting back onto your heel, or that might feel like it's nowhere near possible today. So as always, I'm going to remind you to listen to your own body, not to push into anything that feels too much today, to practice ahimsa, non-harming. Good. Then we're going to bring that right knee back in and send the left leg out. So same thing, but with the other leg. So resting on the inner edge of that left foot, toes pointing forwards, the foot is in line with the knee. Walk the hands in, come up to stand on your right knee. Left hand rests onto the leg, right arm up to the sky. Breathing in. Exhale, side stretch, gate pose. Breathing in, breathing out. One more full breath. With an inhale, lifting up. Exhale, taking just that right hand to the ground, left arm up to the ceiling. Opening your chest up to the left. And then floating left hand down to the ground. Bringing both hands under the shoulders. Then we're going to start that action again of sort of shifting the weight forwards a little bit and then back a little bit. Rocking forwards, rocking backwards. You might notice a difference, maybe one side is a little easier than the other with this. Good, last one. And then bringing that left knee back in under the hip, tabletop position. Tuck under the toes, push the hips high, come into downward facing dog. Drop your head down, have a little pedal of the feet. Really push the ground away with your hands. So arms are strong and straight, lifting the hips high, stretching out the spine, stretching out the legs. And take a little bend in the knees, look forwards, and see if you can step your right foot up into a lunge. It might not happen all in one go. You might have to give yourself a hand and help it there. And then drop the back knee. So drop the left knee to the mat. Come into this lunge position, right knee stacked over right heel. And then find your balance, send your arms up overhead. If you're a little unsteady, you could shuffle your right foot a little wider towards the outer edge of the mat. Fix your eyes on a spot ahead of you, find a drishti, a focus point, and then send your right hand down to your hip. Reach up a little higher with the left arm and tip over to the right slightly, so another lovely big side body stretch. Breathing in and out. Take the left hand back up to the sky, and then place it down to the mat, either the palm if you can reach or maybe just the fingertips. I'm going to turn to the right, send the right arm up to the sky, big open twist. Two options here, you can keep your left knee on the ground, or, or you can lift the back knee, push back through the heel. If that's too much today, don't force it, but it's there if you want to try. One more breath in. With the exhale, right hand to the mat, step back into a plank position, breathing in. With the exhale, lower your knees, Slowly lower all the way onto your front. Point your toes and lift into cobra. Inhale, elbows hugging into the rib cage. Exhale, coming down. Curl the toes under, push up to the hands and the knees, and then we're back to downward facing dog. Try and keep the hands in the same position as they were for your plank and cobra, but if you need to, you could walk your feet in a little closer to you as you arrive in downward dog. Breathe. It might feel good to exhale through your mouth occasionally. Take those big lion breaths. Then we're going to step the left foot up into the lunge position. Lower the right knee to the mat. Again, if your foot didn't get there in one go, just help it out. Bring it to the top of the mat so the knee is over the heel. Send the arms up overhead. Find your drishti. Find your breath. We're going to take left hand down to the hip. Right hand reaches even higher, breathing in. Exhale, tipping over to the left, side bend. We're here for 2 more breaths. With an inhale, reaching back up. Exhale, right hand to the mat, turning to the left, send your left hand to the sky. Again, the option is there to lift the back knee or to keep it on the ground. Inhale. Exhale, hand to the mat. Step it back, plank position. Breathing in, spread out the fingers. Exhale, lower the knees, lower the chest, come to the ground. Try and keep the hands fixed in that position as you lift through cobra. Breathing in. Exhale, coming down. Hands stay in exactly the same place as we press up to the knees and back into downward dog. Again, you might walk your feet in a little closer, but hands should stay pretty fixed in their position. And breathe. Now this time, take your right leg up into 3-legged dog if you can. Reaching up high, big stretch through the hip. If it feels good, you could bend your right knee and let the hip open out even more. Try and keep your arms strong and straight. Take a breath in. With your exhale, big step forwards with the right foot. Again, give it a hand if it doesn't get there on its own. We're going to pivot on the back foot, turn it out to the side, and then come up to stand in warrior 2. Good, so we've got a nice wide stance through the feet. A bend into the right knee, straight through the left leg. Arms opening out, fingers spreading wide. Turning your head, gazing towards the front. Soften the shoulders down away from the ears. And as you bend into your right knee, try not to let it drop into the center of your mat. So think about your right knee opening out towards the right outer edge of the mat. Then drop your hands down behind you, interlace the fingers, roll back the shoulders and squeeze your shoulder blades together. Spread out your toes a little bit, really place your feet firmly on the mat. And then see if you can hinge forwards at the hips for a version of humble warrior. We're here for 2 breaths. Squeezing shoulders together, lifting the knuckles. And then push through your right foot to help you lift all the way up. Well done. Turn the toes in so both feet are facing the same way. Release the hands. Roll back the shoulders. Open the arms out wide and then cross your right arm over your left. Wrap your arms around, either taking hold of the shoulders like this or lifting up into eagle arms. So your right elbow is hooked inside your left. If that one doesn't work for you, stay with this. Breathing in, with an exhale, hinge forwards at the hips, forward fold. See if you can keep the arms in that same position. Spread out the toes, lift up from your kneecaps, so use your legs to hold you in this pose. Try and bring your weight over the center of your feet, so you might rock a little forwards, a little backwards, find the middle point of your feet. 1 more breath here. And then unravel your arms, let your hands drop to the ground. Drop your head even more heavily. Take your hands to your hips and slowly bring yourself back up to stand. Well done. Breathe. Turn your right toes back to the top of the mat. Bend deeply into that right knee. Open back out, warrior two. Turn your right palm to face up and reach it up to the sky. Reverse warrior with the left hand sliding down the back leg. Breathing in. With an exhale, reach forwards, bring the forearm to the thigh. Take the left arm up and overhead, extended side angle. Open your chest to the sky. Breathing in, breathing out. And then looking down to the mat, drop your hands around your front foot. We're going to step back, plank position. Inhale. Exhale, drop the knees, drop the chest, come all the way to the ground. Point the toes. This time slide your hands back alongside your rib cage and see if you can lift into upward facing dog. So a little taller. Point the toes, press the top of your feet into the mat. Inhale. With an exhale, pull your belly button in towards your spine. Sit your hips back to your heels. Tuck the toes and then lift into downward dog from there. Well done. Breathe. Spread out the fingers, push with your hands. Now send your left leg up, three-legged dog. The option is there to bend the knee, to open out the hip a little more, but try and keep your arms straight if you're doing that. Good, one more breath. Big step up with the left foot, setting up warrior two. So we turn the right toes out, lift up to stand, open out the arms, warrior two. I'm going to turn myself round so I'm facing you, but you stay exactly as you are. So you have a bend in your left knee, right leg is straight, arms are open. Gazing towards the top of your mat, softening shoulders. Deepening that bend in the front knee. Drop your hands behind your back, interlace the fingers. Squeeze the shoulder blades back and together. Take a breath in, open the chest. With your exhale, hinge at the hips, humble warrior. We're here for 2 breaths. Then push with your left foot, and that's going to lift you back up. Well done. Straighten the legs, turn the toes in, so feet are facing the same way now. And release the arms. Roll the shoulders. Now open the arms out. We're going to cross left arm over right this time, either taking hold of shoulders or lifting into eagle arms. So left elbow tucks inside the right. Take a breath in. With your exhale, hinge at the hips. Try and keep the arms in that position as you fold forwards. Again, bring your weight over the center of your feet. So shift your weight a little forwards, a little backwards until you find the middle point. And then release the arms, drop your hands towards the ground. It's okay if they're not reaching the ground today, but drop your arms down. Tuck your chin to your chest, drop your head. For those of you who have got your hands on the ground, see if you could bring your hands shoulder width apart, fingertips facing forwards, and walk your hands back so they're in line with your feet. If that's feeling really easy and you want to go further, turn your hands so they're facing the wall behind you and walk your hands back through your legs. If you've no idea what I'm talking about, you can have a quick peek at the screen and see what I'm doing now. Final breath here. And then walk the hands forwards. Take your hands to your hips and slowly lift with a straight, strong back. Well done. Turning the left toes back to the top of the mat. Bend into that left knee, open out the arms, warrior two. Turn the left palm, reverse warrior. Left arm to the sky. Breathing in. With the exhale coming forwards, left forearm onto the left thigh, right arm reaches up and overhead. We open the chest to the sky, extended side angle. Then looking down to the mat, drop your hands either side of your front foot, step it back, plank position. We're going to try upward dog a different way. So shift forwards onto your tiptoes, lower your knees, lift your chest to look forwards and untuck your toes. So flat feet, soften the elbows, shoulders back, chest open. Push, push, push with the hands, lift tall with the neck. One more breath here. And then pull in from the belly button. And this time we're going to sit back to child's pose. So knees open, big toes together. Sit the hips back. Rest your head down. Slowly rising up, swing the legs round in front of you and come to sit. We're coming back to Baddha Konasana, cobbler's pose, feet together, knees open. And we're going to try taking a bind, so that's where we connect the hands to the feet. So we're going to take index and middle fingers, or make a little peace sign like this. Turn the palms to face up, so peace sign, palms facing up. And then hook the fingers between your big toe and second toe. Then you're going to curl the fingers around and really take hold of the toes, really firmly gripping. It might sound odd if you've not done a bind like this before, but it's a very traditional part of some of the yoga postures. Now you're going to lift your knees and try and walk your heels in towards your body. So we're gripping big toes with the fingers, shoulders back, chest lifting. I want you to see if you can lift your right foot and stretch out that right leg. It might not straighten, you might need to keep a bend in the knee, that's fine, but try and keep pulling the shoulders back, chest lifting. Breathe. As you exhale, let the foot come down and try it to the other side. So left leg lifting. Again, try not to collapse through the shoulders and the upper back, so shoulders back, chest open, shoulders dropping down away from the ears. Breathing in. Exhale, coming down. Now you probably know what's coming next. I'm going to ask you to try, see if you can find your balance and take both feet out together. If that is just not happening and you're falling over, that's okay. This is a practice. You could come back to one leg at a time and just do a couple of breaths on each side. Or you can keep having a few goes and see if you can lift the chest, shoulders back. Press your big toes into your fingers, grip the toes really firmly. Hold it there, find your breath. Let's try one more breath if you're still with it. You got it. And then with control, slowly bringing the feet back together. Knees open, fold forwards. Let go of that bind and just let your hands relax to the ground. And then lifting your head, coming back up. Bring the knees together. Well done. We're going to extend the legs out, then bend in the right knee and cross over. So right leg crossing over left. Try and stack the knees as close to one on top of the other as you can, and shuffle this right foot in towards your right hip. So we're looking to stretch out sort of the outer hips with this next posture. This is option 1, keeping the left leg straight. This is a bit kinder on your knees. Option 2, lean over to the left and fold that left leg in and come back up to sit. You'll know if your knees are up to that or not. If they're not, don't push it. Come back to version 1 with the straight leg. So stacking the knees as close to one on top of the other as possible. Have a little shuffle, sit as tall as possible. And then with hands just behind you, lift the chest. Breathe into that stretch. It might be really noticeable already, a stretch around the hips and the legs, or it might be quite easy for you, depending on how flexible the hips are. I'm feeling it already, personally, but if you feel like there's further that you need to go to be able to feel this stretch, you can take the hands forwards and lean into it. Try and soften the forehead, loosen the jaw. We're here for 5 slow breaths. Last one. And slowly lifting, coming back up to sit. So we're going to take that stretch on the other side. If you're in this version with both knees bent, you can try a little swivel. I'm going to show you. You can give it a try. It might work, it might not. I will then show you how to come into it the normal way in case it didn't work. So the swivel that you can do is swiveling all the way around 360, and you should end up with your legs crossed the opposite way. So right now you've got your right knee on top, you're going to end up with your left knee on top if it works. Your feet are not going to move, they're going to stay in exactly that spot, but you're going to swivel around on the toes. So you're going to take your hands over to the left, you're going to try and lift up onto your left knee, and then swivel around on the toes. Notice how I'm not moving where my feet are positioned, they're just swiveling. And then as I come back round, the legs have crossed the opposite way, left knee is on top. So you're swiveling all the way 360 until you're facing forwards again. I'm going to show it one more time. So I'll go back to where I was and you can try and copy me again. So right knee on the top to begin with. You're going to turn to your left. Use your hands for support. Try and swivel 360 all the way back round to facing forwards. And your legs might end up crossing the other way. Let me know in the comments after you've finished the practice if that worked or not. If it didn't work, I'm going to show you how we came into it the first way. So from straight legs, we're going to bend the left knee, cross it over, knees stacking, foot coming in towards the hip. Again, this might be where you stay with the right leg straight. If not, you're going to lean to the right, bend in that foot and come up to sit. And again, listen to your knees. They will tell you if this is safe for you or not. Come to sit as tall as you can there, hands just behind you on the ground. And take a moment just to soften into it. It may be quite a different feeling on one side compared to the other. If there's further you want to go, you can take your hands forwards and lean in. See where you need to be. Again, counting maybe 5 slow breaths. Final breath here. And then slowly lifting, coming back up. If you want to try the swivel again, you can. If you're just ready to come out of this, lean back, unravel the legs, and have a little shake out. So if you were doing the swivel, you would need to turn to your right this time, not your left. Well done. And once we're all back sitting on the ground, we're going to come down to the ground. Come down to your back. So lower down to your back, bring your knees up and into your chest. Take a little gentle rock of the knees from left to right. And then extend your legs out and reach your arms up overhead. So stretch out the legs, stretch out the arms, and try and rest your arms against the ground there. If that's a bit tough on your shoulders, you could go wide with the arms instead. We're going to take both of the feet and keeping the legs straight, we're going to shuffle both feet over to the right. So we're coming to this kind of banana shape with the body. So both feet moving over to the right. And then shuffle your shoulders, your head, your arms up and over to the right as well. So taking a big side body stretch. Try crossing your left ankle over your right thigh. Left ankle over right ankle. That makes more sense. So legs are staying straight, but you could try crossing your left ankle over your right. And that might take that stretch down into the left hip a little more deeply. Opening up all along the left side of your body. Breathing into the space that you're creating there. And then slowly, I'm going to shuffle the head, shoulders, arms back to center, and bring the feet back to center too. And then take it to the other side when you're ready. So both feet moving over to the left, shuffling head, shoulders, arms up and over to the left too, and creating a big side body stretch. And you could try crossing your right ankle over your left if that feels nice. Just relaxing into that position as much as you can. And taking the last 2 breaths here. And then slowly bringing your upper body, head, shoulders, arms back to center, and bringing your legs back to center. Hug your knees into your chest one more time. And see if there are any final stretches that your body really wants to do before we settle into Savasana. And when you are ready to relax, drop your shoulders, drop your arms out to your sides, and extend your legs out, taking your feet at least hip distance apart or even wider, and dropping your toes out to the sides. Have a good shuffle until you feel nicely comfortable as we come to Savasana. As we bring our bodies to stillness and let go of all of the effort of the physical practice. Let all of those deep stretches throughout the whole body sink in, and let the muscles relax and recover. And as we bring our bodies to stillness, if our minds are still active, we might use a simple mantra, a phrase or word that we repeat in our minds to keep our attention. So a very simple mantra that I'd invite you to try is silently repeating in your mind, I am breathing in, I am breathing out. And whenever your thoughts become scattered, your mind is distracted, just come back to that simple mantra. I am breathing in, I am breathing out. keeping your body relaxed. Just notice the feeling of the ground underneath you, the space around you. Feel your body resting with all the muscles relaxed. And take a really deep, full breath. If you can, I'd encourage you to stay and rest even longer. Whenever it's time for you to start moving, make those movements very slow and gradual. Maybe just wiggling your fingers and toes to begin with, and then stretching out and waking up in whatever way feels good. I'm going to leave you there. Thank you for joining me for this practice, and I hope to see you in another one soon.